The tale of the Arizona Coyotes has been one that's been doomed to fail from the start. The team has been through so many different ownership groups and so many other problems that all of the issues that they're currently having now is just the bottom of it. In this video, I'm going to go over every single thing that happened with the Arizona Coyotes from their creation up until where we are now. But before I really start deep diving into it, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like and subscribe. I put a lot of effort into this video and I hope you really enjoy it. To start off this story, we have to go back to 1972 when the Winnipeg Jets joined the WHA. The Jets were very good in the WHA, where they made it to 5 finals and won 3 titles. But later on in the 70s, the WHA fell on hard times and had to merge with the NHL. Even though they found great success in the WHA, the Winnipeg Jets struggled mightily in the NHL. They didn't have a winning record in their first 5 seasons in the NHL. The Winnipeg Jets were already seen as a very small market team, as the city where it's at is very small and doesn't even have an airport. The fact that they were a small market team and were struggling mightily all led to the fact that they weren't generating as much revenue as they should have been, and it led to very hard times for the owners. Player salaries grew in the 80s and 90s significantly, and it was something the Winnipeg Jets owners failed to keep up with. In order to stop bleeding money, they decided that they were going to sell the team. The team announced in 1995 that they were going to be selling the team to a group of investors located in Phoenix, Arizona. The main 2 owners were going to be Stephen Gluckstern and Richard Burke. Just like that, the Phoenix Coyotes were created, and they had their inaugural season in the 96-97 season. Because the Jets ownership sold the team, they also sold the history and all of the rights to the Winnipeg Jets to the new Coyote ownership. This is the reason the Coyotes often get made fun of, because most of their records are held by former Winnipeg Jets that never played for the Arizona Coyotes. For example, their leading goal scorer is Teemu Selanne, who never put on a Coyotes jersey but lit it up with the Jets. Unlike the former rendition of themselves in Winnipeg, the Phoenix Coyotes did much better in the early part of their career. They made the playoffs in their first 4 seasons, but they lost in the first round every single time. Eventually, in 1998, Burke bought out Gluckstern and became the sole owner of the team. The issue was he also wanted more investors, but he wasn't able to get them, so he also had to sell the team. Burke eventually sold the team to Steve Ellman, who was a land developer in the area, and also Wayne Gretzky became a minority owner at this time. This all took place in 2001, and Wayne Gretzky also became the director of hockey operations. An issue with the Coyotes is that they were playing out of America West Arena, which was fitted to the Phoenix Suns and didn't have good sightlines for hockey. Right before the Jets moved, the arena had to go through extensive renovations to be able to barely fit a 200-foot ice service for the hockey team. Because of this, Ellman proposed multiple ideas to build new arenas, but they were shut down every time, and eventually the team moved to Glendale in 2003. This is when the team started playing out of Gila River Arena, where they eventually got kicked out of later on. Then, in 2005, Ellman did what all of the other owners did and sold the Coyotes. He also sold the arena lease to Jerry Moyes, who owned part of the Diamondbacks, and he became the new owner of the Coyotes. In 2005, Wayne Gretzky also became head coach of the Coyotes, and if you know anything about the memes, you know they were absolutely horrible. During his time as head coach, the Coyotes never finished higher than second to last, and he eventually stepped down in 2009. Because of how bad the team was, they were drawing a very low attendance, and the NHL had to step in and start paying team bills in 2008. Eventually, this all culminated to the Coyotes having to file for bankruptcy protection. At this time, Moyes was trying to sell the team, and he almost sold it to Jerry Reinsdorf, who wanted to move the team to Hamilton, Ontario. Whenever the NHL caught wind of this, they stepped in and stopped any sale from going through. Eventually, the NHL itself bought the team from Moyes, and they had all of the rights to the team. Unlike how they were doing previously, they brought in Dave Tippett, and they did much better. In the 2010 season, they won 50 games, and then in 2011-2012, they also went on to win the division title and eventually lost in the Western Conference Final to the Los Angeles Kings. In 2013, the NHL sold the team to Renaissance Sports and Entertainment Group, as well as Ice Arizona for $225 million US. Once the sale went through, they found it fitting to change the name from the Phoenix Coyotes to the Arizona Coyotes, due to the Coyotes playing in Glendale and not in Phoenix. Then, in 2014, that's when the legal issues started. In June 2014, Scottsdale, Arizona sued Ice Arizona, who was part owner of the Phoenix Coyotes, alleging that the NHL club had not paid on a sponsorship deal worth nearly $250,000. By October, Ice Arizona entered a deal to sell 51%, which is controlling interest of the Arizona Coyotes, to Andrew Barroway. During this time, legal fights happened between the Coyotes and the city of Glendale, and the city of Glendale eventually scrapped the 15-year deal that they had with Renaissance Sports and Entertainment. The team was able to come to a 2-year deal with the city though. At the end of the 2015-2016 season, John Chayka took over as general manager of the Arizona Coyotes. He became the youngest general manager in NHL history at 26, but his time with the Coyotes is often looked back on bad because he had to resign in July of 2020. It took until 2020, but then we found out why Chayka was suspended from the NHL. It was found out that he was pursuing other jobs with other clubs while being under contract with the Coyotes. It was found under the leadership of Chayka, the Coyotes were hosting private scouting for draft prospects, which is forbidden by the NHL. This ended up costing the Coyotes draft picks later in 2021. Anyways though, let's go back to 2016 right after he got hired. At this time, new plans were announced to build an arena in Tempe where they were going to partner up with ASU. They were going to build a 17,000 seat arena while also having a 4,000 seat practice arena connected to it that would also host Arizona State's hockey games. Eventually though, this deal fell through because Arizona State University pulled out in 2017. Also at this time, by the end of the 2017 season, Barroway also decided to buy out the rest of the ownership group that was left, and he became the sole owner of the team. Then, in 2019, Barroway sold controlling ownership of the team to Alex Morello on July 29, 2019, the beginning of the downfall. In August of 2021, the city of Glendale and Gila River Arena decided to not renew their contract with the Coyotes. Later, in December of 2021, the arena was threatening to lock out the Coyotes if they did not pay the $1.3 million that they owed in taxes and $250,000 that they owed to the city of Glendale. The team then eventually paid the bills, but it was very bad and detrimental to the brand. Because they did not have an arena deal, they then once again turned to Tempe where they were trying to turn a garbage dump into a new arena, but eventually that deal also fell through because they couldn't get enough public support and enough votes to get the deal approved by the public. This is when the Coyotes then turned to ASU in Mullet Arena. And this is where we've been at for the past couple years. It's a 5,000 seat arena that was built for college hockey games that was hosting the Arizona Coyotes. The original plan was for the team to be there for 3 years while they had a new arena being built. But after they signed the deal with Mullet Arena, that's when the Tempe deal fell through. After that, they also had multiple deals fall through with Mesa and North Phoenix to build arenas. They entered the deal in the Mullet Arena in the 22-23 season. The very first year, the players thought it was pretty neat to be playing in a college hockey arena, but then, last season, the 23-24 season, is when issues started to rise. Players were no longer happy playing in a college arena and something needed to be done fast. That's what led up to in April of 2024, it started being leaked that the Coyotes were trending towards being sold to Ryan Smith's group in Utah and moving the team to Salt Lake City. Then, later in the month, GM Bill Armstrong had private meetings with the team and then eventually announced to the public that the sale was going to go through. Unlike normal selling of the team though, this one was going to be different. The Arizona Coyotes were going to go dormant. Basically, Alex Morello would sell the team to Ryan Smith for $1 billion, but he would keep all of the rights, history, and trademarks, and he was going to reactivate the team within 5 years once a new arena was built. This was supposed to be the plan because right before they started being sold, it was announced that they were going to be pursuing a land auction in Phoenix. The Arizona State Land Department canceled the land auction in North Phoenix, which Morello intended to purchase for the site of the new arena. This came after Morello reportedly lied and said that he was going to build a youth hockey area for there, but instead that was where he was going to build a 17,000 seat arena, and eventually the land was taken off market. On top of that shady lying, it was also reported that earlier in the 23-24 season, the Coyotes got in trouble with a Toronto hotel after not paying their bill because they just left. After the land auction was canceled, Morello reportedly has told his staff and the NHL that he's not pursuing reactivating the franchise anymore. And this is where we currently sit at today. The rights to the Arizona Coyotes, their history, their trademarks, and everything else that they have is going to the NHL again. Even though the team was sold to Utah, they didn't get any of their rights or their trademarks or anything, and that stayed with Morello. So now all of that's going to go to the NHL, and eventually they're going to pursue a new owner that wants to keep the team in the Phoenix area. But they're not going to get their players back when they do come back. They're going to have to go through an expansion draft again, and Utah's going to keep all of the former Coyotes. The tale of the Arizona Coyotes is a very sad one. There is some very, very loving fans that absolutely adore this team. I've seen the outpour of love on Twitter over the past couple months, and it's very sad to see this team go. The Coyotes were a big reason why I got into hockey and fell in love with the sport. In the early 2010s, I went to a Penguins game, and I saw Patrick Hornquist score a hat trick against the Coyotes, and then the giveaway that night was Sauk Penguins, and they got flooded onto the ice, and I loved it. I had my new favorite player, and I had two teams that I like to watch. I'm very sad for all of the fans of the Coyotes. It breaks my heart to see the torture, and I can't imagine losing my team like they just had. The only thing that gives me hope now is that Alex Morello is not coming back as an owner in the NHL. He failed miserably and did a bunch of shady things, and he doesn't deserve the right to have a team again. The Arizona Coyotes have had a lot of owners and a lot of misfortune throughout the time. To be honest, they really haven't stood a chance from the start because they never got a competent ownership group. I truly believe that if they get a good ownership group that actually cares about the sport, then fans will flood back into the arena and the team will flourish in the desert. Because after all, we've seen it with the Golden Knights, hockey truly does belong in the desert. If you've made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you, and if you enjoyed me telling you all about the Coyotes, please drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. I can do more of these type of videos if you guys want to see them. Let me know in the comments below, please. If you have any recommendations for other videos I could make, leave them in the comments below. I truly do appreciate you watching this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.